Hi sisters, James Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So not only welcome back to my channel, but also welcome back to Sister Upload Week. If you have no idea what's going on, I've been uploading every single day this week. It has been so much work, but it has also been so much fun to put out so much content for you guys, and I'm honestly really loving it. Will I do it ever again? Definitely not, but it's fun while it's lasting. If you guys have not yet checked out all the videos that have gone up for the past few days, make sure to check them out. They'll be linked down below and in the sidebar, probably somewhere over there. I'm not really sure. Check out the channel. Welcome to the sisterhood. Subscribe if you have not already. For today's video, I am so pumped because today is the finale of my little mini makeover series. As you guys know, I am a beauty guru and it is my job to do my own makeup almost every single day, but I rarely ever get my makeup done by other artists. Last week, I started a super fun makeover series on my channel where I went to Sephora, MAC, and Ulta and got my makeup done at all three locations. I asked for this picture right here of Jaclyn Hill. I'm not gonna forget it this time, and each time came up with a very different result. Getting these mini glam makeovers and showing you guys the results was honestly so much fun and so cool to see all the different artists, different styles, and techniques that they use on me. I honestly learned so much, but so many of you guys were saying that for the finale, you guys wanted to see me do the look on myself and do it how I would normally do the same exact look. So for today's video, that is exactly what we're doing. I'm gonna be recreating that same exact look from Jaclyn Hill on myself. We're gonna be talking about all three makeovers and my own makeover. We're gonna be comparing them all, talking about the prices, talking about the products, talking about the truth tea, which one would I recommend you guys to go to if you have a very special event. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get glam for one last time for this mini makeover series grand finale. For my first step in my makeup routine today, I'm gonna grab the Tatcha Water Cream, which is my all-time favorite moisturizer. I absolutely love using moisturizer before my foundation, and I think a really good skincare routine is absolutely vital to a really successful makeup routine, and the places that did that were Ulta and Sephora before my makeover, so major props to them for that. Once my face is all ready and nice and moisturized, of course, my next step is going to be foundation, and for today's look, I'm gonna be using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD stick, and I am in the shade Y245 right now. The Makeup Forever stick is definitely one of my all-time favorite foundations. If you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, you know that I've been using it for a very long time. Just as a reminder, when I went to Sephora, the artist used the Bare Minerals foundation on me. When I went to MAC, my artist used, of course, the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. And when I went to Ulta, they used Born This Way, and Born This Way is actually one of my all-time favorites as well, but the color was not exactly the best match. You guys know that I definitely love a very full coverage type of base. Even when I do my more light natural looks, I still like a very full coverage foundation because I do have pretty uneven skin naturally, and as well in the picture that Jaclyn posted, she is definitely full beat glam. There's no questions about it. So I feel like we definitely need a very full coverage foundation to match this look today. For concealer today, of course, I'm going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. You guys know this is my all-time favorite, and I'm in the shade Light Sand. I'm just going to apply this underneath my eyes, on the sides of my nose for the snatched look when it comes to contouring and all the high points of my face, just to add a lot of dimension. In my Sephora makeover, my artist used the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. In my MAC makeover, my artist used the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. And in my Ulta makeover, my artist used the Tarte Shape Tape, just like I'm using right now. So honestly, we had a really good selection of concealers at all the different places that we went to. Then I'm gonna blend this in very well using a damp beauty blender. Unfortunately, we have no triangular makeup sponges today. Next, I'm gonna take my damp beauty blender and dip it into my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and just use this to set my entire face and lock my foundation in place. At my Sephora makeover, my artist used this powder, which as you guys know is my all-time favorite. At my MAC makeover, she used the MAC translucent setting powder, which, spoiler alert, I absolutely hated. Then at my Ulta makeover, he used the IT Cosmetics translucent setting powder, which I literally did not even know existed, but worked fine. Next, to contour my face today, I'm gonna grab my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm gonna use my Morphe M141 brush and dip into the left shade and a tiny bit into the middle shade, and use this to chisel out my cheekbones. In the photo that Jaclyn posted, she definitely had a very light and soft contour, which honestly is not really my cup of tea. You guys know that I love a good snatched cheekbone, a very chiseled jawline, and definitely a contoured and lowered forehead, that is for sure. But obviously we're doing our best to recreate the photos today, so I'm gonna go very light on the contour powder and make sure not to go too crazy. At my Sephora makeover, my artist used the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer to contour my face, which I thought was a little bit weird. First of all, I didn't know it existed, which obviously means nothing, but I felt as though it was a little bit of a shimmery product, which is kind of weird for bronzer. It definitely was more of like a bronzer highlight combo rather than a contour, so I do wish it was a little bit more chiseled out and a more cool toned, softer type of situation. At MAC, my artist actually used the MAC blotting powders in the darkest shade, which I thought was so cool. Because she used blotting powders instead of an actual bronzer or contour, it gave a really light wash of color, which I thought was super dope. I've never seen that done before, and I think that by adding that light wash of color instead of like the intense bronzer and contour, it by far gave that contour the most accurate to the original picture of Jacqueline, and I loved how it looked. And then finally for the Ulta Makeover, my artist used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. This is definitely one of my all-time favorites. The products are so good and blend out so smoothly. It wasn't the best contour, but it also wasn't the worst. Now when it comes to the nose, I'm using a Morphe M433 brush in the same exact shades from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm drawing my nose contour very tight together. I'm not going to talk about my nose contour in respect to my Sephora makeover because I did not ask for it to be contoured, which is definitely my fault, so that one is out of the picture. But I did ask for a pinched nose contour at both MAC and Ulta, and I think that the results at both were honestly not the best. It is definitely not like the nose contour at MAC or Ulta looked bad by any means. It literally took me a year to figure out how to actually contour my nose and make it look decent rather than just editing it in every single photo, so I really don't blame them at all. But I definitely do think at both makeovers, if I say pinched nose, it could have been a little bit smaller. And then once again, I'm going to grab my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder in my damp beauty blender, and I'm going to lightly bake my face to really intensify my nose contour and my cheekbone contour. I personally don't think it's that weird that none of the artists chose to bake me today. Honestly, a lot of people think that it's really stupid and doesn't really make a difference. I personally do see a difference, especially when it comes to like the nose contour. Baking the sides of my nose has literally changed my nose contour for the better, but I don't blame them. Baking is obviously a technique that started from drag queens and has slowly trickled its way into like online social media makeup, but I feel like hasn't fully integrated into like the regular beauty world, so I don't really think it's that strange. I, for one, like I said, I do love baking, so I'm just gonna do it on myself today to really intensify those highlights. Alright, so while my face is baking in the oven at 350 degrees, I'm gonna go into my brows, and for today's brows, I'm going to use my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I always start off my brows by drawing little hair-like strokes in the center, just to add a little bit of dimension and fill them in slightly, but not make them super defined. And then I'll just go in and start doing the tail. Pull the tail more out as opposed to down. This is something that I actually recently changed in my brow routine, but I feel like it has honestly made the world of a difference. It makes my brows look more arched, which therefore just gives me a more like lifted and pretty look to my face. And it also gives me a lot more room for eyeshadow, so I feel like drawing them out is my new favorite brow trick, and it just flatters my face really well. For both my Sephora and Ulta makeovers, my artist used the Anastasia Brow Definer to define my brows, and for my MAC makeover, she used the MAC brow pencil, which I've actually never used before. Brows are definitely a really personal thing when it comes to makeup. I feel like things such as like base makeup, contouring, highlighting, and then like eyeshadow are very much like one style fits most type of situation, but brows like frame the entire face. They can change your entire facial shape or structure or expression, so I feel like brows are like a very vital thing and are very personal, which is probably why I didn't really like any of the brows for employee or store, and I definitely do have to what I would normally do. I don't think any of the eyebrows were particularly bad, although the Ulta one definitely could have had a little bit more attention paid to them, but I just think they weren't really my style. I'm then just gonna go with my Benefit Gimme Brow Gel just to brush through all those hairs and lock them in place. You guys know that I'm definitely someone who has a lot of eyebrows, that is for sure, so I always like to use a brow gel just to make sure those hairs are not going to go anywhere and they're going to stay nice and defined all day long. So once my eyebrows are all laid in place and my eyelids are all primed and ready to go for shadow, I'm of course going to do the eyes, and for today's look I'm going to use the brand new Morphe 15D, which is the Day Slayer palette. I'm first going to grab the shade In the Crease on my M513 brush and put that shade in the crease. I'm next going to use an M433 brush in the shade Editor and use that to deepen up the crease and the outer corner. At my Sephora makeover, my artist used the Sephora Pro palette in the warm tones. At my MAC makeover, she used individual shadows. And at my Ulta makeover, he used the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I felt as though for the actual color of this eye look, none of the makeovers actually were that accurate to the original. I feel like all three of them turned out very red in the end, whereas this look is obviously super orange, which is a little bit weird. I remember at the Sephora makeover, the eyeshadow look was actually done really well, but the gold shadow used for the actual lid was just a really strange color that didn't match very well. My MAC makeover, I think, was the best eyeshadow look overall. It looked very beautiful and well blended. And then my Ulta makeover, I felt like my artist used the closest technique to the original, but it was just a really weird crease shape. I'm next gonna grab my M124, which is just a small packer brush, and dip into the shade Mauve and use this to deepen up that outer V. Then I'm just gonna grab my M433 one more time for my last step and go over those edges to make sure that there are no harsh lines. Then I'm gonna grab the brand new Morphe cream shadow in the shade Bronze. This is from the new holiday collection. You guys have to check these out. And I'm gonna use that to carve out the lid. And then just to add a little bit more glitter to make it pop, I'm gonna grab the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liquid Glitter Liner and just pop a tiny bit of that on the lid. When it came to the actual lid, my Ulta artist was the only one who actually like embraced the whole half cut crease type of situation, which was definitely going on in the Jaclyn photo. But even still, all three artists only used an eyeshadow for the actual base. I found that a little bit weird because in the photo of Jaclyn, you can definitely tell that there is a little bit of a glitter situation going on. I was disappointed in the lid situation at all three different locations, especially Sephora and Ulta, because the steel and liquid metals things are sold at both locations and those are so beyond beautiful. I use those for almost all my cut creases and they are extremely glittery as well, so I do wish something a little bit more glittery or true to the original photo was used, so that is why we're going extra glam today. For the lower lash line, I'm first going to grab my M433 brush in the shade Editor and just buff that in. And then just using my M513 brush that I had my original transition shade on, I'm going to go over those edges to make sure they are really, really blended out. I'm then gonna grab an M151 brush into the shade Mauve, and I'm going to use this to hug the waterline. And then I'm just gonna line my lower waterline today using the Pretty Vulgar pencil in obviously the nude shade. I definitely like a good nude waterline. It feels like it opens up the eye a lot. So now that the eye is all done, the next step is obviously going to be the eyelashes. And for today, I picked up the Lily Lashes in the style Doha. I feel as though these are the closest pair that I have that looks close to what Jaclyn was wearing, so I'm just gonna pop on this one today. For my Sephora makeover, I was given a Sephora brand lash. For my MAC makeover, I was given a MAC brand lash. And for my Ulta makeover, I had an Ardell brand lash. All the lashes were actually applied perfectly. Like the artists all had really good knowledge of how to apply it right to the lash line and how to make the glue like not get all wonky and stuck to my eye. Clearly, I don't have that knowledge because I'm having a lot of trouble putting this on right now. Lashes are still my least favorite part of my makeup routine because they're always really, really wonky for me. I don't know what it is, but I can just never get. Okay, example A. There were no gaps, they were comfortable to wear, which is amazing, but I felt as though all three lash styles were not really that close to the ones that Jaclyn had on, and I would definitely not choose to wear any of them again. Alright guys, and that is one eye all complete. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly do the other one off camera to save some time, and I'll be right back to finish off the rest of this look. Alright guys, and those are both eyes all complete, and the next step is going to be, of course, the glow. Before we go in and actually apply any highlighter today, I'm gonna apply a light spritz of the Skindinavia Makeup Finishing Spray. I always like to apply a little bit of setting spray before I apply my highlighter, just so it's really, really vibrant. And of course, you guys know I'm gonna use my Anastasia Illuminator in So Hollywood and my Morphe M501 brush. So my artists at both Ulta and Sephora used the Jaclyn Hill collaboration with Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop Highlighter. I thought it was so cute since obviously this look is a Jaclyn Hill inspired look. And then my artists at MAC used the Soft and Gentle Highlighter. I thought my highlight in all three looks was decent. They definitely all could have been a little bit more vibrant. I do love a good glow, and in the picture of Jaclyn, she is definitely like blinding the haters left and right with her highlight, which I love. What I did think was weird about the highlight for all three looks is that all three artists use a really, really big brush for applying a highlighter. Don't get me wrong, I definitely love a good dewy skin look. You guys see me trying to achieve it all the time, but I do feel like there are places that highlighter should be and places that highlighter shouldn't be, and because of the size of the brush that all three artists use, I did feel like the cheeks and like the under eye region was a little bit shinier than I typically like it. When it comes to highlighting the nose, I'm gonna once again grab that tiny pencil brush and just draw a really, really thin line on the tip and then down the nose bridge. Once again, going back to the contour thing, you guys know I love a pinched nose, and to achieve that with makeup, it definitely takes a lot of different steps. One of them is definitely using a really, really tiny brush. Obviously, highlight is going to bring the eye forward and draw attention to it, so by using a pencil brush, you're just furthering the illusion, and the only artist that did that was my MAC artist, Helen, and it was so amazing, and I felt like her nose contour was by far the best. And then finally, to finish off this look today, I'm going to go into the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in the shade Vampira. When I first saw the photo of Jaclyn, this was the first liquid lipstick to come to my head. I feel as though it is literally a perfect match to the photo, so I was so excited to see my Sephora artist pulling this out. Then my MAC artist used the Carnivorous liquid lipstick from obviously MAC, and my Ulta artist used the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Trust, but then again, we remember I picked that one out from a bin, not him. And yes, when I'm applying this, I'm making sure to overline. While applying this, I did go ahead and add 2 coats because as you remember in the Sephora video and even looking at it right now, this lipstick is a little bit streaky, so I did want to make sure to get it super, super opaque. And then finally, last but not least, I'm going to finish this off using the Skindinavia Makeup Finishing Spray. Alright guys, and that is the Beauty Guru Gets a Makeover at his own beauty station look all complete. Here is the finished look. Now that you guys have seen my version with all of my favorite techniques and products, let's go ahead and compare all 4 looks. My first makeover was at Sephora and my artist was named Crystal. She was so sweet. My makeover ended up costing me $50 and I rated it a 7 out of 10. My artist did a really great job, and this makeover was a little bit different from the other ones in the series because it was the first episode and I wasn't asking for specific things like nose contour and for less harsh bronzer and stuff like that. So I don't want to knock her too hard, although I did dislike the foundation. I felt as though it wasn't really that full coverage, and I felt as though some of the eyeshadow tones were a little bit off from the original. My next makeover was at MAC. My artist was Helen. It cost me $60 and I rated this makeover an 8 out of 10. My artist had been working at MAC for over 10 years and her expertise really showed. Her blending was absolutely impeccable. I love the eyeshadow on this look, although I do wish she added a little bit more setting powder because I started to get very oily very quickly and I felt as though I was getting some creases, and she also underlined my lips, which I felt wasn't really that flattering to my face shape. My next makeover was at Ulta. My artist was Darrell. It cost me once again $60 and I ended up rating this makeover a 7 out of 10. I really like this makeover in the sense that he used a lot of the same products and techniques that I usually use in my normal routine, such as Too Faced Born This Way foundation and Tarte Shape Tape, although there was some weird things with it being that the foundation shade was nowhere near my skin tone once I left the store, but that's like a whole lighting situation that I don't even want to get into. And then of course my cut crease was a little bit of a really wonky shape that I don't think flattered my eyes. Now that we've compared all the details of all 4 makeovers, let's compare them side by side. First we went to Sephora, then we went to MAC, then was Ulta, and then finally my own look. Looking at all 4 of these looks next to each other, it is so cool to see all the different techniques and products used by all the different artists. Even though we went into each experience with the same exact photo, I think it is literally so cool that each look looks very different and unique in their own ways. There are things that I love on each look and there are also things that I don't love as much, but overall I think all 3 makeovers were a huge success. In the end, taking into consideration the final look, techniques used, products used, prices, and just treatment overall, I think my grand prize winner for this makeover finale is MAC! Getting my MAC makeover, I felt incredibly comfortable the entire time. My artist was super kind and was definitely extremely knowledgeable about the makeup process, which obviously you want if you're getting a glam makeover. While $60 was on the higher end of the price tags for the makeovers, I felt as though I was definitely paying for expertise. I feel as though the things that I didn't like as much about the look, being the lack of setting powder and the underlined lips, are 2 things that can really easily be fixed by simply saying something. Obviously you guys watching this know that I tried to say as little as possible just to see what the artist would come up with on their own, but obviously if you're getting your makeup done, you should speak up because any artist is being paid to paint your face and to make you look good, so you should be getting what you want as a client. Even though MAC was my personal winner today, I definitely want to hear from you guys, which out of the 4 looks was your favorite? Did you like the Sephora look, the MAC look, the Ulta look, or my look the best? Leave me a comment down below. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Alright guys, and that is all I have for this mini makeover series. I've had so much fun filming this. If you did love this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you guys want me to continue this series, definitely let me know. Like I said, I absolutely love filming it, so if there are any other stores or any famous artists you want me to get my face beat by, let a sister know. If you have not already, make sure to click that big red subscribe button down below. We are literally so close to 2 million. It is so crazy. I love you guys literally so much. Also, don't forget to click that little bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. We are in the middle of Sister Upload Week right now where I'm uploading every single day. It has been so crazy. Don't forget to check out all the previous videos that have already come out, and stay tuned for tomorrow and Friday for the last 2 videos of Sister Upload Week. You guys are not going to want to miss them. If you'd like to follow me on a makeup journey, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. They're both just James Charles, and my Snapchat for more behind the scenes type stuff is James Charles with an extra S after Charles. This week's sister shout out goes to Sister Scarlett. Thank you so much, babe, for always following and supporting. You know I love you so much. And if you would like to be next week's sister shout out, make sure to always retweet your video links when they go live on Twitter. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed this little mini series. I love you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!